A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a bold statement released on Sunday, October 12, 2025, the Chinese Commerce Ministry made it clear that the nation would not yield to the 100% tariff threat posed by U.S. President Donald Trump. The ministry urged the United States to engage in negotiations rather than resorting to threats, emphasizing that while China does not desire a trade war, it is not intimidated by one either. This declaration comes in the wake of President Trump's announcement to significantly increase tariffs on imports from China by November 1st, in response to new restrictions imposed by China on the export of rare earth elements. These minerals are crucial for a vast array of consumer and military products, making the stakes in this dispute particularly high. The ongoing back and forth between the two economic powerhouses threatens to derail a potential meeting between President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, as it risks breaking the fragile truce established in their trade war, which saw tariffs from both sides briefly exceed 100% earlier this year. President Trump has been actively raising taxes on imports from various U.S. trading partners, aiming to leverage concessions in exchange for tariff reductions. However, China has remained steadfast, leveraging its economic strength to resist pressure. The statement from the Chinese Commerce Ministry, presented as responses from an unnamed spokesperson, criticized the U.S. approach, asserting, frequently resorting to the threat of high tariffs is not the correct way to get along with China. The ministry called for resolving any concerns through dialogue, warning that if the U.S. continues its current practices, China will take necessary measures to protect its legitimate rights and interests. Both nations have accused each other of violating the spirit of their truce by imposing new trade restrictions. President Trump has characterized China as becoming very hostile, alleging that it is holding the global economy hostage with its tight grip on rare earth metals and magnets. The new Chinese regulations mandate that foreign companies must obtain special approvals to export items containing even minimal amounts of rare earth elements sourced from China, further complicating the trade landscape. With China accounting for approximately 70% of the world's rare earth mining and controlling around 90% of global processing, access to these materials has become a critical point of contention in trade discussions between Washington and Beijing. The Chinese ministry's post indicated that export licenses would be granted for legitimate civilian uses, acknowledging the mineral's military applications as well. In recent weeks, the U.S. has implemented several new restrictions, including expanding the number of Chinese companies subjected to U.S. export controls. The Chinese Commerce Ministry criticized the U.S. for disregarding its concerns, particularly in light of new port fees on Chinese vessels that are set to take effect shortly. In retaliation, China announced plans to impose port fees on American ships, escalating the trade tensions further. As the situation develops, both nations remain at a stalemate, with neither side showing signs of backing down. The potential for a trade war looms large, and the global economy watches closely as these two titans of trade navigate their increasingly contentious relationship. The implications of this conflict extend far beyond the borders of China and the United States, as the outcomes will undoubtedly impact global markets and supply chains for years to come. Stakeholders across various industries are bracing for the fallout, hoping for a resolution that avoids a full-blown trade conflict. As negotiations continue to stall, the world can only wait to see how this high-stakes game of economic chess unfolds. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.